Hi, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. I have a card for you today that is special for a couple of reasons. One, that it is actually going to be given away tomorrow, so not in film world. Sometimes the magic of television, you see things sped up. The delay of YouTube world is that I make videos and sometimes they don't get posted for a few days. Sometimes on rare occasions they get posted the day I made them, but usually I film a few in a day and then they get posted throughout a period of time. But if you caught this card this week, it's another special card. This one I made for my niece who just recently got engaged. So I make one, you see it, and then I make another, so I always have two. So its companion card is off in the mail to my niece who got engaged. So this is with an older set that's currently available in the annual catalog. And then the card I'm going to make today is for a wedding that we are going to tomorrow. It's one of my daughters. She's in the wedding. It's one of my daughter's teammates from when she played college golf. So I'm going to be using a brand new set. So this one I didn't even have. Maybe I just gotten it, I think, when I made Casey's card. But this is not available yet. And I had a bunch of questions. That's how I remember that I had just gotten it, because I did show you the actual set. It will be this set if you are a demonstrator and you signed up to go to Onstage, which is our demonstrator event. And it's virtual again. I'm kind of over the virtual events. Thankfully, I have demonstrator friends who live locally, and we will be getting together to watch the videos because I'm done. I'm done. I'm ready to be in with thousands of other demonstrators and cheering and just being together and being able to talk and meet new people. But we do have a virtual event. That's why we have our stuff early, because if we go in person, then you don't get it till you're actually there. But this is the stamp set and the suite that we will be making our projects with for that. So if you would like to get things early, you could find out about being a member of my team. I have a great team. It's called Beautiful Images, and I'm always willing to give you the information on that. So this is the stamp set that I'm going to use to make Lindsay and Ryland's card, and I'm actually going to even use a little bit of the paper. So let me take a second and show it to you. It will be available if you are a demonstrator and you didn't sign up to go to Onstage. If you did, then you need to order it. If you didn't, then you will be able to get it in pre-order, and I'm not 100% certain when that is. I would say early December, but I haven't checked. If you are a customer, then it will be in the January catalog, the new January mini catalog. So it's called Blessings of Home. I really like this saying that says you are a real blessing to everyone around you. I like when we have some different kind of sayings. I love the way that these flowers stamp in stippling, and wait till you see the dies. I am using all of the dies except the one that cuts this image out, because I'm not using that image. And then I'm using What a Beautiful Day for Love, because that's a perfect wedding card. So it does come with paper. And Lindsay's colors are purple. So I had forgotten that purple was even in this. So I was just going to use, I knew the back sides of the paper. They remind me of what I call the Home Depot pack. But then when I went to get one of the back sides of the paper, I realized that they do have purple in them. So this was cinnamon cider. I love the bees. And then the flip sides all have, I remembered that they had like the woods. So we got that side. And then this is the papaya and evergreen. So it's a nice selection of the end colors. And again, wood. So in my mind, I was just going to do wood. And then when I pulled out the wood, there was the freesia. And I had used the freesia. And there's the wood. And then here's the moonlight. So it's a fun pack of the end colors. So if you are part of my card club, be sure that this is going to make an appearance in the future next winter, because we can't get it yet, but in the winter of one of our card club projects. So super pretty. And I mean, it's going to be in the January to June mini catalog. So it's got a spring feel to it, but it also has that fall feel to it now because of the bees and the cinnamon cider. This year's in colors kind of cover that gamut with the evergreen and the succulent, because that covers spring and winter greens. And then that cinnamon cider. And then it does come with the denim and ribbon, the suite. This is a recurring favorite. So we've had the denim ribbon before, and that did come with it. And it also comes with classic matte dots. I almost used them because when I asked my daughter, like, what colors of, because I knew her wedding was purple, and you know, Stampin' Up! Has a lot of purples, and she said any of our purples but grape. So Frige is my current favorite purple, so that was why I started with that one. And then I said, what green? And she said, no greens. And I'm like, well, I'm using flowers. And she said, no greens. So I went with slate as my green, and since my daughter was like, no greens, I'm like, how do I do flowers with no greens? And so I almost used the classic matte dots because you can see it's got the white, the vanilla, the basic gray, and the black. Except for the fact that I don't know how many of these I will need for my upcoming on-stage projects. And when it comes down to it, the freesia work just as well. And actually probably better for a wedding card. So I have smoky slate because, you know, no greens. It's smoky slate. And then I'm going to do all of my stamping as I most usually do anyways, but always on a wedding card on shimmery white. So let's get going on making the card. And then I have a piece of the freesia shimmery vellum, because wait till you see all of these dies. So I'm going to do my stamping first, and then we'll do all of the cutting. So I have just 2 of the stamps. I'm going to do the stippled kind of bouquet one. You want to do, when you do these ones that are kind of stipply, you want to make sure you ink them really well. There's 2 tips. So ink it really well, and then make sure that you also stamp well. So put it on here. I'm going to actually stand up, so you're going to hear my chair move, because it needs that extra little push. And look how beautiful it stamps. Isn't that pretty? So we have that. And then I'm going to do the words. And this is the only die that I'm not using from the set. So it's a little frame, and it's from the, I think it's from the contour. I will put it in the description below, either on my website, wherever you're looking at this. You can be able to find exactly what die I pulled that out of, but it fits perfectly on this. So again, you want to make sure that you stamp it so those are nice and stark and black. So we've got those. So let's quickly color these in. No, I'm not going to color them out. Let's cut them out first because I'm going to color some of the other dies. So let's pull this over. I have actually a half a sheet of shimmer white. I just did it in 2 because you can't put a half a sheet through the die machine very well. So we'll get as many as we can on this first one, and then on the second one we can get some more. So we have these 2 that will do this. And it's going to look like it's not going to cut it, but it does. Because, you know, the frames are bigger than the images. So let's get these 2. And then there's a bunch of flowers. So if I can get them all on the one, I will. But I have a feeling we're going to need another piece of paper. So it reminds me, we have several sets now that have just have a bunch of flowers. And it works out perfect for a wedding card. So we'll do that many. I could probably squish a couple more, but since I'm filming, it's just easier to do this. So just make sure that, especially that flower doesn't move. Anytime you have one that you want to make sure stays in place, put it so it goes through first, because if these jump back here, it doesn't matter because they're just on cardstock. So let's roll these through first. It just takes 1 pass. I want to make sure that I don't mix them up. So get these over here. Let's slide this back over. And then we have, how many did I not get on? Just 2. So we'll do these 2 here. Actually, I have a smaller piece, and then I can get the freesia on as well. I think this is what's left from the last time I did it. So get those on. And then this freesia piece, I picked all the little ones. So see, I told you there's a ton of dies. Aren't they pretty? Lots and lots of flowers. And this could just be your wedding go-to, and just find out what the wedding colors are, because flowers are appropriate for every wedding. 1, 2. That's from the other. I was trying to not get them mixed up, and I did. That one fell off from the other ones. But you could always just do this card in the colors of a wedding and never have to think about what you want to do. Okay, so now we have these. Now we can do our, oh well, let's go ahead and do our embossing with the folder as well. So just keep those there. So here is the one piece of paper, and I knew that I wanted it on this because wood, you know, in weddings right now is definitely a thing. But then when I got the paper out and I realized it was freesia, I just took this one piece of paper, and it's 4 by 5 1/4, and I just cut it in half. And then I just wanted to give it a little bit of texture because it's a wedding card. We want to do all the beautiful things on it. So I just grabbed this wood folder and just pop those in there. And it just adds just a tiny bit of texture. It doesn't, there's a lot going on this card, but there's a lot going on a wedding. And when I do, I'll try to take a picture of my gift after I wrap it, because when I do a beautiful card like this and it's going to have a lot of ribbon popping up on it, I use my ribbon to be the decoration for the card, for the package. So my package itself, I'm not going to put this in an envelope. I will just wrap it in white or gray, depending on what color of gray wrapping paper I have. I just tend to buy plain colored wrapping paper, and then I'm just going to stick this right on the top, and it can be the decoration for my gift. So I tend to buy a gift, so I have something to wrap, because I like to wrap something, and then I usually get a gift card as well, because it's hard to find something that they don't already have. But I do like to be able to wrap something. And I'm old school. I like to give them something, not just a gift card. So we got those two. We'll leave these freesia ones here. We'll put the ones we need to paint here. We don't need to add any color to our saying, so that one's done. Pull all these out. They're a little bit delicate, so you just want to be careful when you pull them out. And you could easily run these back through and get some more out. That's just because of video. So I'm going to let's start. So I have freesia, Highland Heather, and the Smoky Slate. So let's start with the Highland Heather. I'm going to start a series. So if you have any requests that you would like on how to. So the first one I'm going to do is how to use a Stella. So they'll be pretty short videos, and I will use all of the things that Stampin' Up! Has, and I will put them on one page of my website and then on a playlist on YouTube. So I will show you how to start from start to finish on how to use some of our different products. And the first one I'm going to do is how to use a Stella. But for this one, I'm just going to paint with these because, you know, the Stella is going to add some extra added beautiful shimmer to these flowers, and then just a hint of the colors that I've gone with. So here is the Highland Heather. So I'm adding it to the flower centers, and then everywhere that the Stampin' Up! Artists have added that little bit of shading. And I'm just kind of coloring until the ink comes off. And then over here, I'm gonna just clean my brush. So anywhere there's a flower, I'm just gonna kind of get rid of it. And there's not a ton of flowers on these over here, and I have the two purples. So just kind of clean that off. So that's all we need for the Highland Heather. The card kind of looks like it might have taken a long time. It doesn't take a long time at all. Let's squeeze this again. So if you have any thing that you want to know how you use, I know I'm going to do how to use our wood, not our wood blocks, our clear blocks. Here's our freesia. I know I'm going to do the Stella. I'm going to talk about, I have a list, but it's kind of hard to think about my list right now while I'm also talking about this. If you have any requests, I'd be more than happy to take them. I'm going to do the heat gun. What else is on there? But they'll all be fairly short. I do have one already for our cut and emboss machine when I did a class when it first came out. So I think I'll just go ahead and put that as a public video. So y'all can watch that if you have the cut and emboss machine. So it might be a little bit of a longer one. So just kind of add that. You don't have to cover up all of the colors on this because the paper is shimmer. So there's no point in having to cover everything up. And then there's these little dots that kind of look like blossoms. And I didn't want all of the all of the stems to be smoky slate. So got that. And just kind of get rid of that on there. And then let's get our slate. And then we'll do our leaves. And it actually looks pretty. You could also do this for a silver anniversary or any anniversary card. Or it could have been my niece's, her colors aren't purple. I could have changed it to be mostly greens because hers is greens. She doesn't want any colors of flowers in hers. She just wants green. So I would have had to have done green flowers for hers. Which is not, and she's doing baby's breath. I did baby's breath for my wedding. So, you know, all things come back again. So I'm just going to add some of this, brush it over. And I don't want it to be solid color. I like the stippled effect on these. So literally just brush it over, and as it comes off, because it'll kind of mix in then with the rest of the card. And then if I want to go back and hit any when they're on the card to give it a little bit of touch of color, depending on how they've ended up, I can do that at the end. So got that. Now let's put this together. So I've made a false front because I've cut these into 2 pieces and I wanted to have something to wrap my ribbon around. So I made a false front. This is again 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to tape these on here first. Brand new. If you've watched, you would know when the order of these are because my seal ran out. And then I tried to make it work on the next video and there was none. So I had to use Seal Plus. So I have refilled it. So if you've been watching my videos, you can know what out of order this is because now it's filled. So just put these on, butt them right up against each other. And just make sure they're straight. So now that we have something to kind of base these on, because I want to add ribbon, and if you're doing it on this, the ribbon would have had to go around the whole card. So fold this in half. This is just a standard half-size card sheet. So if you're in the US, it's half of ours. If you're in another country, then just base all of your measurements off of that. Now I am going to take, this is our Halloween ribbon from last year. And I know people missed it because it was on the Halloween Suite page. Don't miss any of this year's Halloween stuff, because you don't do Halloween. So I'm going to just do it twice because it's beautiful. So just fold it over twice and then trim it. You don't have to trim the other side. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive here. And it's really just going to only stick that bottom layer, but that's okay because then we're going to be able to layer some of that other stuff in between and we can pick it back up. And then I'm going to take this and kind of pull that one that way and pull this one that way. And the same with that. And I'm going to go ahead and mount this on the card because it doesn't matter and that'll just hold that in place. So put some right here so it holds that. Now if you're using any other adhesive but seal, you won't have... Seal will give me a minute to kind of move these things around because it's repositionable. So if you're using something else, you might want to lay everything out and decide where you want it to be before you go. Let's get these on. Now I'm going to just add a little bit of adhesive, and then if I need to go back and like lift things up and put glue dots, I'll do that. So I know I want this here. And then we have this kind of long banner-ish one, and I want it to go across the top. So I'm going to start with the ones that I know where I want them to go. This one here. And then I want this to kind of be the one that goes here, but I want to put it under the ribbon. So I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive here. And then I can lift this top ribbon up because it's not really stuck. It's just the bottom one, and kind of slide this down under here. And then I'm going to take a dimensional because I want this to have some lift to it. So this way it's not going to pop down under here. But it will hold it on. Maybe. There we go. Now we can start kind of just adding the other pieces. So some of them go this direction and some of them go that direction, which is perfect for our card. So I'm going to add some here. And like I said, I will put mine on the top of a gift. So when I finished Lindsay's, I went back and I just added some random glue dots. You could add fine tip glue, but I wanted to make sure that, you know, especially if groomsmen or somebody carry the gifts out to the car, that it can withstand some jostling or, you know, being up against other gifts. I'll stick this one under. When you do the under, you have to make sure you're lifting the top one and not the bottom one. So grab this down, and then I'm trying to stick all of the little stems underneath the banner. There we go. And the benefit is once you put it on there, then it also will catch some of that adhesive that we laid down underneath that. This one. This one I'll stick on the top. And then we have one more that goes this way. So it looks like, you know, when you're doing it, that you have tons of them, and there are a lot. But when you get them on the card, there's most certainly not too many of them. I'm going to stick this one so it looks like this is a little bit larger. And then we have the ones that we cut out of the shimmer vellum. And this is an in color pack, so it would work perfectly with this pack of paper, the designer series paper, because it's all the same colors. Stick that one there. I have no idea where these are on my original card. It's sitting over there, but I don't want to look up and see where I put them. We'll just put them where it feels right for this. I'm going to stick this one up in here. You can see now why I needed a little bit of extra glue, because there's not a whole lot holding these on at first. But once you add the extra glue, there's plenty. But using the seal then gives you the option, if you get to the end and you're like, oh, there's too many there or not enough there, that you can kind of move them. One more. And then, like I said, these are the ones that come with, and you can see that especially this basic gray would be really pretty on this, but it's a wedding and she likes purple. So these are a better choice, I think, for this particular card. I am going to take just where did I put my, I just had it, here it is. I'm going to take this, and right here on this, I'm going to kind of wad that. So now we have that pretty illusion of this going all over, but it's not covering up the whole flower quite so much. And it's a wedding, so normally I use 3 embellishments, but it's a wedding, so I'm going to use 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Give it the extra sparkle. Plus 3 on a card that's a little busy like this might not be as noticeable. So here's this one. Just need to go back now, and I'm just going to take my fine tip glue. I think I said glue dots. I debated. I think I used both, because I started with the glue dots, and it was just easier to just take a little bit of this and just kind of wedge it in there. And now the other card, they're not going anywhere. They'd get ripped off before they would be pulled off. So here's the one that's actually Lindsay's. So I do think I will add here. Let's just fix this now. I do like the way that I just kind of made this. So beautiful. Is that not so beautiful? So mark your calendars, because when January comes, and I haven't seen the catalog yet, we do get to see it. If we don't have it in the mail before November, it's like November 10th, I think is, I don't know, my November's craziness. It's around November 10th is on stage, so we'll get to see the catalog then if you're going. If you didn't go, then it's a few days after that that you get to see it. So once I see the catalog, then I know for sure what my January classes will be, and I usually like I'll put them on my website, what my hopes are, because these days supply issues can play into that. But I'm already thinking that this will definitely be something that retreat-wise, class-wise will make an appearance. And then there is my Try It class, because as soon as I start seeing new paper, my Try It class, because that class always fills. So if you're not familiar with it, you'll want to start watching for it. But signups for that will happen in December. So you still have a while to get on with that. So everybody have a great day. I'm going to go from this and go hop in the shower because I have some wedding venues to tour this afternoon. And then I'm going to try to get my card class filmed. And then it's going to go out in the mail tomorrow, which is a few days earlier than planned. Everybody have a great day. Bye.